What's up, everyone? I'm Carter Banks, and I am a music producer, audio engineer, mostly known for making Timcast music songs. Got like 8 or 9 of them out now. I've been on the road recently. We were in Florida for about a month and a week, and I was going to try and do this video there, given that I had a beautiful background of the ocean, but things were so hectic, and I was barely able to even get this release out, which we'll be talking about today. I'm very excited to bring you a session breakdown of a song called Never Again. It was written by Tim Pool and produced by me, performed by Alex Bianca. And that song is now in its tracking week for Billboard charts. I think it's a bop, and I've been very excited to do this session breakdown, so without further ado, let's get into it.
You traveled so far, but you never smile again. Tell me where you went in another story. You'll never cry again. Tell me where you went. A shadow stretched across your...
Okay, so, Never Again. The first thing that I want to talk about here is this song. It's one of those songs that sounds really, really simple, and it is. But there are like so many things in here that make it what it is. I can break it down into basically a few elements: layered vocals, a lot of them, pads, arpeggios, beats, and some slight, real instrumentation. But it's mainly a layering of all of those things and then filtering to bring the rising tension. Because it's a song that it's hook-based, it's vocal-based, but it wouldn't be a song without the beats. So I'll just go through it here. We've got ticks and tops, got the kick, snare 2, shaker 1, shaker 2, hi-hat, tom mid, tom low. We'll ignore this drum loop because I did not end up using it. So, beginning here, we have this stuff. This is the chorus.
So far, but you never smile again. Tell me where you went in another story. You'll never cry again. Tell me where you went.
So I have this stuff going to the beat bus. I got a beat bus, a perk bus, and those all go to music, but I'm going to go ahead and mute the perk and the other things here that I don't particularly need so that you can hear just the beats. So I'll mute the SFX bus, the bass guitar, I'll mute all the electric guitars here, mute the acoustics, acoustic guitar bus, guitar delay, guitar verb. Let's mute the vocal bus. We'll mute the SFX. Here's the chorus beats. Still gonna mute that bass bus. If I can find it. A lot of buses here. You'll see why I did this, because it's so much easier to control filter automation if you have the ability to do one-size-fits-all filtering, kind of like over here during this pre-chorus. Everything is in this filter. It's in this one-knob filter. But as you can see, right here, it's all about the taking away and putting back. So we've got, back to the first chorus, I'll show you the combo here. So we've got our... Oh, I thought I muted that instrument bus. Pardon me while I find the bass bus. It seems to be hidden here. One drawback of lots of buses is that you've got lots of buses. I try and label them with colors. My most recent coloring scale thing would be I try and use the non-color for all the buses, so the standard colorless color. Here's the instrumentation. And that's pretty much it. It's very simple. Now, something I did to kind of add in some, realism, some swing, not really swing the musical kind, but I've got a perk bus here where I have played tambourine and shakers with this, and I layer this in the verses mainly, and then, as you can see, it kind of grows in scale and layering throughout the rest of the song. We got our tambourines here, so now I'll mute the perk and the beat bus. It's an interesting sound, I'm not gonna lie, like these tambos. And I pretty much I played like a couple of measures and then I looped them. Looped and quantized. Now we got that second snare coming in. And again, so the shakers will come in for the pre-chorus, and all of that stuff is getting automated here with the filter automation, with the Beats bus. I just use the one-knob filter. It's such a good one-size-fits-all plug-and-play plugin. I think it's by Waves. I know it's by Waves. I use that, and then, of course, we got some vintage Valhalla Verb, I think, on the percussion, or the perk, which I'll classify as the shakers and the tambourine. And the shakers, I think I got two separate version of shakes. Got our shakers L1, shakers L2, shakers 2L1, shakers 2L2, and then of course I got some shakers that I have pitched down over in the... This is like a little transitional thing going from verse 2 into this little pre-chorusy part. Panned left and right, as per usual, but let's get back to it. So we got our beats here. As I was saying earlier, the drop here is what really helps build the tension. That's gotta be one of my favorite parts of the song for sure. That beep, 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 bum, 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 bum. So it's like the only thing that plays. So far, you never smile, smile. Got our bass bust. Doo-doo. Got our 808s. Let's change the sample to 256, see if that does anything here. I think it will. Nope. Well, there is a science to freezing tracks, and I just not doing it right now. So we got 808s, bass mix bus. This stuff I committed. Definitely could have cleaned this session up a little more before showing it to you, but I am so pressed for time, and I want to get this out to promote the song, because I think it's important, and y'all are going to love it. Let's unmute everything and see. I've showed you what I wanted to with the perk. Got SFX bus, drop, risers, ear candy bus, instrument bus, bass guitar, played the real bass, played real guitar. Something I did in this, and this, I'm sorry if this is kind of all over the place, but while we're on the topic of the guitars, there was something I did panning-wise I don't typically do. Instead of panning far left and far right for the intro and the verses, I only went about 70, I think. 70, yeah. So I panned 70 to the left, 70 to the right. This is the lead guitar hook, by the way. The song is kind of based around. So then when we get to the chorus, I panned all the way out, far left, far right. Bass split. And when I get back to the verses here, we go back to 70-70, pan left, right. Filtered, and then a drop transition. Got some acoustic guitars in here, playing right here. So I got Soothe, and Soothe is just like a fucking game changer as far as EQing. I waited for the longest time to get this, but you don't have Soothe yet. Soothe 2. It's a really helpful tool to just kind of clean up those harsher frequencies that you don't want there. Let's talk about some of the vocals here, because this is a pretty vocal-based song. It's a based song and a vocal-based song. We did some layering here. Alex's voice sounds great, but I'm going to play it from the top here. We'll come back to this.
You traveled so far, but you never smiled, smile again. Tell me where you went in another story. You'll never cry again. Tell me where you went. A shadow stretched across your name, like pages torn but left unread. You held the light but turned away. The sky was open, full of thread. I called you once, the wind replied, but you were already lost inside.
So these Ys, I think the word was Y. In the demo Tim showed me, it was like a... I wasn't sure if it was an instrument or whatnot, but it turned out to be a Y with some pitch correction, some vocal formant shifting here, some filter-ing of the one knob again, and then another vocal bender with some fake vibrato. I was trying to make this sound as fake as possible, but also human-y. You know, that singularity between instrument and human voice. So we got that. So, of course, we have echoes. Sometimes simpler is better. Use some H delay with the ping pong preset. More vocal bender to make it a little bit more mysterious. And, of course, Soothe 2, because Soothe 2 rocks, and if you don't have it, you should get it. Before I run out of camera room, there's a few things I want to talk about first and foremost, or mid and most. The laugh. This happened naturally in the studio. Me and Alex talked about whether or not we should keep it. And I went back and forth on it because I picture the song on the radio or in a movie, and the laugh is like, I don't know, it's 50-50. Let me know what you think. Would you keep it in? At the end of the day, we were like, yeah, we should keep that in. Because it was just like perfectly timed. I'm not even sure what she was laughing about, but it turned out to be just something to add a little personality to it, and I think it worked. So I called it a laugh track. Then we got the echo here.
You traveled so far.
Okay, so there is stacked vocals here. There's like oohs left and right. For Alex's voice in the chorus, I doubled her lead left and right. We can never get through it. I've been away from my home computer for the last 2 weeks, and I'm used to using an Apollo Twin now, which supersedes the Scarlett Focusrite 18i20 by a long shot as far as latency goes, so I'm not used to this skipping around here. But hopefully we can make it through this chorus. Sometimes Pro Tools just does this shit, and gotta deal with it. Filtered wise, filtered bass. The glass was warm where you had
stood, but every word fell through the air. You left behind your quiet good and something aching everywhere. A folded coat, an empty stare.
couldn't help but add those 90 type shit. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, there's some echoes that are like panned left and repeated, panned left and right, like ping-pongy in here. I think it's mainly on the air and the stare, kind of like to accompany the Y, and to also to differentiate the second verse between the other ones. You know, some moving alongness. It's always good to get.
Bird fell through the air.
And it's got this like weird minor polyphonic harmony. Polyphonic harmony, that seems redundant, but you know what I mean. Little A chalet vocal bender and soothe. Brings back in the pitch down shakers, and then unfiltered everything.
A folded cup, an empty stare. And no one left to know.
Now here, this part is wild. So that is a synth, an arpeggio, taking the main melody, where it's like, da, and to give it that weird sense of like this is a sound forming into another sound, I had sidechained and faded it in this very particular way. Let me see if I can find it. Tremolarps, that's what I call this. We got tremolarps. It's got sidechain compression. It's sidechained to the kick and the snare, actually. So every time you get it, it is ducking it a little bit, but it's also fading in. And I did something to kind of like patch together the riser effects as far as like rising goes. I consider like risers like an effect, but I put kind of like an air noise here. I did this in the Together Again cover that me and Tim did, but in this situation I had taken just some noise, some air, I think it was, and I kind of got like the cool frequencies that sounded really pleasant here to help transition from that first part. I did this twice actually with two separate air chords. Let me see if I can single these out. Let me go to the ear candy bus. Ear candy goes to music, so let me mute every bus but the one I'm trying to get. Mute the SFX bus. Probably just get all my buses in a row here. Mute bass bus. Perk. Beats. Gotta mute the actual bass. Got actual real bass. Of course, the guitar mix bus. And the vocal bus. If I could find it. A lot of tracks, everyone. A lot of tracks. Okay. Now, this is where... Okay, I think you'll be able to hear what I'm talking about now. The tremolarps are also going to the ear candy bus, so I'll show you the tremolarps first because those are coolest. There's some acoustic guitar reverb going on that I need to stop from happening. Stop Christmas from coming is what the Grinch would say. Oh, okay. So I sidechained this to the air as well. So this is like, I'll show you the air now. So this is tremolarps and the air here. I'll pull up the two things I did, two Johns here. So we got, do small. In fact, let's do mini. So our first riser right here. Second riser, riser with ear air here. So it's cool because it gives you that whooshy air, but it's like chorded air. If that makes any sense at all. Here's the two together. Here's the two together. Pro Tools doesn't want to let me do this. Pretty sick, huh? So now, let's play that along with the tremolo arps. SFX bus. And then right here is the whole, like, again, this part where I drop all the instrumentation except for the two panned left and panned right tom fill. Let's unmute the beat bus. Unmute the beat bus and unmute the soul. So here's your filter again. And I think I actually made those like more distorted. So it's kind of like when you're working out, you don't want to ever do the same workout 2 days in a row. But in fact, you also want to switch what you do every other workout so your body's continuously guessing. I'm doing that with the post-pre-chorus transition. Each one a little bit different. So your mind is always guessing, if you feel me. So, ticks and tops. This is just something I added in to make it more interesting at the end. Just like a little bit of glue to keep shit together. And yeah, so let's unmute a bunch of stuff. Let's unmute the bass bus, E-bass bus. Let's unmute all the buses that we just muted. Got our tremolo arps, our bass guitar, our instrument mix bus. More guitar mix bus. GTR FX. Probably should have ducked that a little bit. Can we get through this song, Pro Tools, please? I understand Pro Tools is not too pumped that I'm recording this and doing this right now as well, but tough, man. You work for me. You're Pro Tools. I know I'm like maxing out my machine right now with all of these verbs and all of the delays. It's hardly necessary. Maybe I should have just committed some of this stuff, but, you know, I didn't. But you get the idea. Well, let's wrap this up. If I can't play it, which I don't think I'm going to be able to, you're going to have to go listen to the song at buyneveragain.com. So the last part, I've been tracking Alex over the course of a few visits to West Virginia, to the Maryland studio, whatnot, and I knew how to end this song with something that she had not yet tracked from me. So this last line is actually an iPhone recording. So I was like, I need you to record this one line for me. Tell me where you went. You went. Yeah, and that's it. That's a wrap. If y'all have any questions about, you know, anything else, there's so much I didn't go over here because the limitations of this complex setup I've got. But if you want to hear the whole song uninterrupted by latency and my computer, you should go to buyneveragain.com and let's get this song charting. Let's get it on the radio. Let's get it everywhere. Follow me at Carter Banks on Twitter, X, whatnot. Also at Carter Banks on YouTube. But yeah, follow, like, share, subscribe, all the other people say if you want to see more of these breakdowns. And yeah, peace.